All right, so the Falcons are coming off a 34-7 win against the New York Giants, and now they have to go to Washington on Sunday Night Football to try to make the playoffs. They are in control of their own destiny, but it's going to be tough. Washington is a good football team. I hate the term they're not as good as their record says because they won the game. Like it's hard to win a game in the NFL, and any win you can get is a good win. Uh, but I think that people are sort of inflating this Washington team. Don't get me wrong, any Washington fans watching this, Washington is a really good football team. They have lots of talent on both sides of the ball. They have good young players, good veteran players, obviously a really good young quarterback. They're a playoff team. Don't get me wrong, and they can make some noise. So I'm not saying Washington, the Commanders, are a bad football team in any sort of the word. So don't blow up on me in the comments. I'm just saying these two teams are more comparable than maybe the national media is letting on. And largely that's because of that losing streak that the Falcons had where Kirk Cousins was playing horribly. We're all aware of it. We're all upset about it, but it's done. It's in the past. This is a new Falcons team. This is a team that I expect to look more like how they did in the earlier parts of the season when they were 6-3. So it might even be better than that. It really comes down to Penix. And that's what we're doing today. We are looking at three keys to the game that I think are vitally important if the Falcons want to come out of Sunday Night Football in Washington with a win. And maybe if we're lucky, depending on what Tampa does, with a playoff berth. All right, but before we do all of that, I want to ask you to please subscribe, like, comment with any of your thoughts. I am totally accepting of constructive criticism, so go ahead. And yeah, you can follow on Instagram. TikTok's coming soon, and whatever other platforms we decide we want to be on. But yeah, you can follow on Instagram. I'll put it somewhere on the screen, but it's dirtybirdsdaily.yt. So you can just search that up, give us a follow. Hopefully, be posting on there every day. Also, we'll see. Obviously, I've already broken the everyday streak on here, but that's because Christmas happening again. Merry Christmas to you all. I hope you had a happy holidays. If you celebrate Christmas or whatever you did during this holiday season, I hope it was a good one. So, anyways, let's jump into football talk. All right, the first key of the game I have for the Falcons is explosive plays. This is on the offensive side of the ball and the defensive side. Offensively, all these keys, all three of them, are really just go back to Penix. What is Penix going to look like? What kind of plays can he make? And that includes explosives. Now, we know the Falcons offense has the personnel to create lots of explosive plays and put up a lot of points. We've seen their offense put up almost 600 yards against Tampa on Thursday night. I was at that game. It was awesome. It was electric. Really, I wouldn't be surprised if the Falcons just come up and light it up. Again, it comes back to Penix. The personnel's there. Darnell Mooney can get you on these long, deep balls, of course. Drake London can get you large chunk plays. I think back to the last Tampa game last season where Ritter on that last offensive drive just throws a bomb. Well, it wasn't a great pass, but he put it where Drake London could get it, and he went up and got it. We've seen time and time again Drake London be able to get these large explosive chunk plays. And then you also have Bijan Robinson, who doesn't have a tendency to like rip off these 40, 50-yard runs, taking them all the way to the house, right? But he can get you, again, chunk plays, 10, 15, sometimes 20 yards, and just create explosive plays that drive down the field fast. And even in Kirk Cousins' struggles, the Falcons have been able to drive down the field. But we'll get to that later where the red zone becomes a problem. But yeah, it really comes down to Penix. Is he going to be able to keep the game mistake free? Is he going to be able to make the right reads, find the open man down the field, all that sort of stuff? I think he has shown the capability. I'm ready to say Penix is perfectly capable of being a really good quarterback in the National Football League. I'm ready to say that after just one game. But again, It's going to come down to him and the fact that he is in his second start in the National Football League. Really, we don't know what we're going to see. I have an idea of what we're going to see. I think he's going to be solid, but we don't know. Something could rattle him. It's his second game. There's a lot of unknowns here. On the defensive side of the ball, yeah, Washington can make explosive plays. They don't run the ball particularly well. Um, they they're just not good at it. Statistically, if you look at it broadly, they have good numbers rushing, but if you actually go and watch the film, they're definitely not the best rushing attack. Their best rusher, in fact, is Jaden Daniels. That's something to watch out for. The Falcons, if you've been a Falcons fan for a while, you will know they do not do well against running quarterbacks. It's just how it is. Obviously, they're just naturally hard to cover when you have a dual threat like that. But the Falcons in particular, oh my gosh, Taysom Hill comes in and you go, this is not good. Or we saw it last year with Josh Dobbs in the Minnesota game. He came in and torched us. So we're gonna have to figure out something to stop Jaden Daniels from just running around all over us. Troy Anderson probably would have been helpful for that, but he's on IR. If you ask me, I think he's done. I think he's done playing football. I could be wrong. He could come back next year, be healthy, contribute. I hope I'm wrong, obviously, but if you can't stay on the field, it's tough. But anyways, that's a whole tangent. So again, the rushing, the Falcons have been very good against the rush, especially recently. I think they rank around like 12th in the league against the rush. So really, we should be good on that front. It's the passing attack that worries me. Obviously, we know Jaden Daniels can sling it. He can get the job done, and he can extend plays and make you hurt. So we're gonna have to figure out some way to contain Jaden Daniels within the pocket, not let him get outside, extend plays, and make a huge chunk play down the field. That will kill us. So yeah, we have to be really, really careful with the explosive offensive plays that the Commanders can create. And we also need to make sure we're creating our own. And it's, again, really going to come down to Penix and seeing what he can do. All right, the next one we have is the red zone. That's my second key to the game. Again, if you've been a Falcons fan for a while, you know they struggle in the red zone. Obviously, it's hard to score in the National Football League, but the Falcons, in particular, we're used to it, are not very good in the red zone. Matt Ryan struggled a lot in the red zone. Kirk Cousins, of course, as of recent, has struggled in the red zone. The Falcons have been driving down the field fairly well. It's just a matter of not turning the ball over and just putting the ball in the end zone. Bijan Robinson will help a lot with that. His ability to just turn on a dime. The defense thinks they have the gap covered up. They think they're going to get him, and then boop! Before you know it, we saw in the Giants game last week. He's just walking into the end zone untouched. He's really special in that way, so that will be very helpful. But I would like to see the passing attack in the red zone take some steps. Again, Penix has the ability. I know he can do it. It's just, is he going to show up? Second game starting. It's a tough ask. Another thing with the passing attack in the red zone is that we have large pass catchers. Drake London has a huge frame. Kyle Pitts theoretically should be an awesome red zone target. We saw how that panned out last week, but that's like a whole nother video for another time. And Darnell Mooney's fast. He can get up there, get balls, super athletic. And then Tyler Algier is just, the human bowling ball. He will just crash his way over the goal line into the end zone. So red zone efficiency is absolutely crucial. Same thing on the defensive side of the ball. Washington's got a good attack. We know this. And we're going to give up yards. We're going to get up yards. That's just the way this defense is built. That's how they are coached, which is okay as long as you tighten the screws in the end zone and hold them to field goals. If we can just get 2 or 3 stops in the red zone, I really like the Falcons' chance in this game. I think we're going to put up points. If we put up less than 20, I don't like our chances. But if we can put 20 or plus and then hold, just get a few red zone stops, I think we're looking just fine against Washington. And lastly, here for my third key of the game, and this is really, I mean, all of these are keys in any game, but this one's a key in every game because it is so absolutely important with how valuable possessions are in football in general. You got to win the turnover battle. Washington, of course, it can be prone to that, and they could be prone to taking sacks. Um, but we saw last week, right? You know, five turnovers. Jaden Daniels threw, I believe, two interceptions, but they were able to overcome it with really good quarterback play and just sound football outside of the turnovers. Um, but we got to win the turnover battle. Obviously, Kirk Cousins was really, really, really struggling with that. Penix in his first game looked very poised. He looked very confident. He looked like he was making all the right reads. Pretty much didn't make a single mistake unless you count throwing to Kyle Pitts in the end zone a mistake. But yeah, I feel fairly confident, especially with people like Jesse Bates in the backfield. AJ Terrell's gotten a few interceptions this year, which is what we're all kind of waiting on. So it's going to be really interesting to see who wins this battle. Uh, you know, I just really hope, and this goes back to the red zone key. You can't turn the ball over in the red zone. There's nothing more deflating for a team and for a fan of the team to drive all the way down the field, especially if that drive was methodical. It's a long drive. You chewed up a lot of clock. You ran a lot of plays. The defense is gassed, and then you end up turning the ball over, and you can't even walk away with 3 points. That is absolutely deflating, and it can take you out of the game just like that. Some other things I think we need to be doing well is putting Jaden Daniels on the ground. He has to be on the ground as frequently as possible. And can we get that done without blitzing? Based on history, no, we can't. Caden Ellis is absolutely the biggest badass on the field whenever he's on the field. So, I'm sure he'll be able to get home one or two times this game. That dude is a monster. But again, those are usually with blitz packages. And I want to see Jaden Daniels on the ground with the football with rushing four. If we can make that happen, we are in a very good position. Another thing I want to see is long, methodical drives. Of course, every team wants to do this, duh. But like, if we can run the ball as much as possible and then open up those explosive plays, like we talked about, whether it be bootlegs, play action, any of that, we're looking good. If we can get the offense humming and going and get Bijan and Tyler going, the world is our oyster. So yeah, those are the keys to the game for the Falcons this week. My prediction is that Washington actually wins. I didn't really create a score. I think it'll be in the low 20s for both teams. Something like 24-21 or 24-20, something like that. But I think the Falcons really do have a good shot. I think these teams are extraordinarily comparable. They are different, but they have similar levels of talent. I think they both really want to win this game, and it's going to be a fun one. I can guarantee you that. I think it'll be close scoring. I think there's a chance it becomes a shootout. That depends on how the defenses are playing, of course, and if Penix looks like he's deep ball that we saw over and over again in college is on the money. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. Give me your score predictions. Again, subscribe, comment so you don't miss anything else. Hit like. It's gonna help me out a lot. I would be super appreciative. I hope you guys had a Merry Christmas, and I'll see you tomorrow.